August 6, 1945, Hiroshima, Japan. The morning was completely ordinary. Children were going to school. People were heading to work on the streets. No one knew that high above the city, a plane was steadily approaching. At exactly 8:15 a.m., suddenly the sky became brighter than the sun itself. In less than a second, an atomic bomb exploded over Hiroshima. In just a few moments, a city of 300,000 people was engulfed in fire, smoke, and rubble. Buildings vanished. Shadows of people were burned into the streets. But the true horror of Hiroshima did not end that day. Radiation, disease, and death chased the survivors for many years to come. This was the day the world entered the atomic age for the first time. But this terrifying day had its origins many years earlier. In 1939, the deadliest war in human history began, World War II. On one side were Nazi Germany and its allies. On the other side were the United States, Britain, and their allies. As the war progressed, it became clear the country capable of creating the most powerful weapon would ultimately decide the fate of the war. And from this fear, the United States began a secret project, the Manhattan Project, humanity's first attempt to create an atomic bomb. Some wars in human history do more than change nations. They change the future of the world. To understand Hiroshima, we must go back several years. Tensions in Europe were at their peak. Adolf Hitler believed Germany could become the world's most powerful nation. And to achieve this, he launched a terrifying military campaign. On September 1st, 1939, the German army suddenly invaded Poland. Tanks, warplanes, and thousands of soldiers occupied the country within days. Britain and France declared war on Germany shortly after, and so began the deadliest conflict in human history, World War II. Over the next few years, the war spread across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Almost every major nation of the world became involved. The globe divided into two powerful camps. On one side, Germany, Italy, and Japan, the so-called Axis powers. On the other side, the United States, Britain, the Soviet Union, and their allies, the Allied powers. This war was not just fought with guns and soldiers. It was a war of technology, science, and the race to create the most powerful weapon ever. Because everyone knew, the country that could build the deadliest weapon would ultimately win the war. And very soon, this race would lead humanity to create a weapon the world had never seen before. As the war dragged on, the world's most powerful nations slowly began to realize a horrifying truth. This war could not be won with tanks, guns, or soldiers alone. The country that could create the most powerful weapon would be the one to emerge victorious. At this moment, a terrifying piece of intelligence reached the United States government. The news was shocking. Secret sources revealed that Nazi Germany was attempting to create a weapon unlike anything the world had ever seen, an atomic bomb. If Germany succeeded in building this weapon, the outcome of the entire war could change. One bomb, one city, and thousands of lives could end in an instant. This fear forced the United States to make a secret and urgent decision. In 1942, the largest and most secret scientific project in human history began. It was called the Manhattan Project. The project was so secret that even though nearly 100,000 people worked on it, most had no idea what they were actually creating. The project was guarded by military forces, high security, and complete secrecy. In the middle of the desert, a hidden research facility was built. A whole new city was created for scientists, with almost no contact with the outside world. The world's most brilliant minds were recruited. Among them were J. Robert Oppenheimer, Enrico Fermi, Richard Feynman, and many other brilliant scientists. Their work was terrifyingly difficult. They were attempting to contain the most powerful force in nature inside a single bomb. Day after day, month after month, year after year, the research continued. Many experiments failed. Many calculations proved wrong, but eventually they reached a point no one in human history had ever reached before. July 1945. In the remote deserts of New Mexico, a secret test was conducted. It was called the Trinity Test. At dawn, scientists and soldiers watched from a distance. Then, suddenly, the sky lit up brighter than the sun. A massive fireball rose into the desert sky. In seconds, the ground trembled from a terrifying explosion. For the first time in human history, an atomic bomb had been successfully detonated. The scientists knew they had made history, but they also realized they had unleashed a power on Earth that could destroy humanity itself. The test was a success. Now, humanity had a weapon that could destroy an entire city in seconds. But ahead lay an even greater and more terrifying decision. Which city would this bomb strike? There are moments in human history when the decision of a few people can change the future of the entire world. The summer of 1945 brought such a moment. After the Manhattan Project's secret test succeeded, the world realized humanity now had a weapon that could destroy a city in seconds. The scientists knew they had made history, but at the same time, they had unleashed a power the world had never seen. Now the biggest question remained. Would this weapon actually be used? Or would it simply be kept as a threat? By mid-1945, the war in Europe was nearly over. Nazi Germany had been defeated, but across the Pacific, the battle against Japan raged on. Island by island, bloodshed continued. Thousands of soldiers were dying in every battle. American military commanders understood if they launched a direct invasion of Japan's mainland, hundreds of thousands of soldiers could die. Not just soldiers, countless civilians could die as well. Amidst this terrifying reality, President Harry S. Truman faced a horrifying decision. He had two paths. The first, continue the war. It could last for years. Hundreds of thousands of lives would be lost. The second, use a completely new weapon, a weapon whose destructive power the world had never seen. Countless meetings followed. Military officials, scientists, and politicians debated the decision endlessly. Some argued the weapon should not be used. Its destruction would be unprecedented in human history. Others argued if the weapon could end the war quickly, perhaps millions of lives could be saved. Finally, a decision was made. One of the most terrifying decisions in history. The atomic bomb would be used. The bomb they had created was named Little Boy. The name seemed innocent, but inside it lay unimaginable destructive power. Just a few kilograms of uranium could generate temperatures capable of melting steel, destroying buildings, and turning people to ash in an instant. The bomb was specially designed to be dropped from a heavy bomber to detonate above the ground to maximize destruction. A specialized aircraft was chosen. A trained crew was prepared. Every step was carefully planned in secret. This would be the first time in history an atomic weapon would strike a city, and that first strike would change human history forever. But one important question remained. Which city would be the target? August 6, 1945. The darkness of dawn had not yet faded. On Tinian Island, a small military base in the Pacific, a mission that would change history was underway. A massive B-29 bomber named Enola Gay stood on the runway, carrying the world's deadliest weapon. The weapon was Little Boy. The bomb weighed nearly 4 tons. Inside it was a force capable of turning an entire city to ash in seconds. Colonel Paul Tibbets sat in the cockpit with his carefully selected crew. Their eyes showed fear. Their faces carried the weight of responsibility. They knew this mission was not just about soldiers. It was the most terrifying chapter in human history. At 2:45 a.m., the plane slowly lifted off. The Pacific Ocean spread beneath them, calm and vast. Small islands, gentle waves. The world below seemed unaware of the horror approaching. Silence filled the cockpit. The ticking of instruments, the drone of engines, the soft wind. These were the only sounds. The crew knew that one mistake, one lapse in attention, could kill thousands. Hours passed before Japan's skies appeared. Hiroshima was peaceful. People went about their lives. Children walked to school. Markets bustled. Streets were alive. No one knew, high above, a plane was approaching with a weapon that could destroy their entire lives in seconds. The bomber approached the city. The cockpit was silent, eyes filled with a strange, frozen fear. Colonel Tibbets lined up the target. Every instrument was checked, every degree calculated. Every moment reminded them this was not just a mission. This was human history's most terrifying chapter. Questions swirled in their minds. Are we doing the right thing? Will history call us guilty? One moment of error, Could it kill millions? After all preparations, only one moment remained, and in that moment, little boy slowly released from the plane. Below, the city; above, the sky. Everything was still. Only the sound of the falling bomb mixed with the ordinary morning sounds. The bomb descended slowly. The crew felt a mix of fear, responsibility, history, and a silent tension that would end everything in seconds. Hiroshima's citizens were completely unaware. Their eyes saw a normal morning, their minds normal thoughts. One moment, one button, one decision, everything depended on it. And that moment would begin the most terrifying chapter in human history. A city, thousands of people, and a force that would forever alter the map of the world. Hiroshima, now facing history's most terrifying chapter.
August 6th, 1945, 8:15 a.m. Hiroshima's sky was calm, silent. The city's people were living an ordinary morning. Children walking to school, markets bustling, streets busy with work. Above, the Enola Gay soared steadily. In the cockpit, Colonel Paul Tibbets sat, eyes wide with fear, face set with responsibility. In his hand, one button, one single press could change history forever. A second of absolute silence. His hand moved slowly toward the button. The people below had no idea what awaited them. Then he pressed it. Instantly, the sky ignited. Light brighter than the sun blazed across the horizon. A massive fireball enveloped the city. The sun's light was swallowed. The sky burned with blinding brilliance. Shockwaves ripped through every street, every building. A mother clutched her child and ran into an old house, seeking shelter. In a heartbeat, the house erupted in flames. Mother and child were consumed in fire and ash, their screams echoing into nothingness. An old man, unable to walk, tried desperately to flee. His broken legs, frail body, and trembling hands fought against the inferno. Thousands of attempts, but the fire, the shockwave, and the merciless heat allowed no escape. Tears ran down his face. Anguish consumed him. There was nowhere to hide. The city was swallowed by a mushroom-shaped cloud, rising into the sky. Flames engulfed buildings, trees, streets, everything in sight. People screamed, ran, burned. No one could help them. Colonel Tibbets watched from above, eyes brimming with tears, his heart heavy with the weight of a single decision, knowing that one button had sent thousands of souls to their deaths. Radiation, disease, and death would chase the survivors for years. This explosion was not just destruction, it was humanity's most terrifying chapter. Every scene, the mother and child, the old man, the burning streets, the collapsing homes, etched into the minds of all who witnessed. The city was gone, replaced by fire, smoke, and despair. Hiroshima's sky was now black with smoke, fire, and towering pillars of destruction. The city lay in a silent, horrifying grave. A mother had fought desperately to save her child. Despite every effort, the fire claimed them both. In an instant, their lives ended, leaving behind unimaginable grief and helplessness. A disabled man confined to his wheelchair could not escape. His body, weak, was engulfed by the flames, leaving nothing behind but horror and loss. The streets were filled with corpses, burning homes, and rubble. Some had no arms, some had no legs. Some were completely incinerated. People had done nothing wrong, yet they faced the full fury of the bomb. Amid the scorched earth and burning ruins, survivors cried out in agony. Children wailed, the elderly screamed, the injured groaned. All at once, the city became a symphony of suffering. Above, the mushroom cloud still loomed, a grim reminder of the power unleashed. This was not just fire. This was terror, total suffering, and an unflinching truth about humanity. Some tried to survive, some only screamed in despair. Every mother, child, old man, and helpless victim became part of a scene that burned into the eyes and minds of those who saw it. Hiroshima had become a city of fire, smoke, ashes, and grief. Every detail, the mother and child, the wheelchair-bound man, the burning streets, etched a permanent scar into history, and the world would never forget what happened that day.